Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Good morning, Sinkers and Nevis, and welcome to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Thank you so much for joining me on the program today. It's Wednesday, May 18, 2022, and I am really happy to be here to interact with you, the good people of St. Kitts and Nevis. This is Voices. I want to hear from you. The numbers are 466-0989 or 762-0989. It is an opportunity for you to express your views on matters of national interest or anything happening across the region or internationally, that is, that affect or ultimately would affect us here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Voices, it's time to hear from you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. A lot has been happening, not just locally, but across the Caribbean, internationally, and I want to hear from you, your take on it. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. We are live on social media as well, so check out our Facebook page, WINNMedia SKN, our YouTube channel, WINNMedia SKN. Of course, we are live on those platforms. The WhatsApp number where you can send your text messages 662-2204. 662-2204. This is Voices right here on WINN-FM 98.9. So we'll head straight to the phone lines to hear what the callers have to say today. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. We want to hear from you. The phone lines are open, and we'll be taking calls right up until we break at 12 for the headline news. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Devon, how are you?
Good morning. I'm great, thanks. And you?
Congratulations to CPS.
Yes.
Wow, in the vision I come down, I really represent, I come rep, and I come out, a bright orange.
Yeah, man.
I went all over.
I ain't had the opportunity to be there, but I was watching on social media.
Auntie Shelley is one sports woman. She's bubbly. And then I was sitting about couple division. But there was this young lady. We have to love our accent, our what you call it, dialect.
Caller?
Hello.
Hi, caller.
Hello, Sarota. Yes, there was this little girl. And she did said, I have been done so. Hear me, what? Hear me, I have been done so. She was the highlight. I like that little girl there. I like division dialect. Anyway, bye.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. Yes, the Charleston Primary School dominated I think it was the Rams-sponsored relay championship at the Kim Collins Stadium. So again, congratulations to the Charleston Primary School. That's my school. And all the other schools that participated, those from Nevis as well that participated in the championship, in the sports meet. From all reports, it was a very successful event. Very, very successful. And you can tell, based on the interactions on social media, people had a good time and the athletes were able to enjoy themselves. They were able to make their school proud. They were able to make their family proud. They were able to run and, have a good time. But when it comes to sports, people are very passionate about their sports. People are really into their sports. And I think that support system from family, that support system from the teachers, that support system from the general public is what really, keep the students going or the athletes going. So again, congratulations to the Charleston Primary School for a job well done. They were champions in Nevis, and they came to St. Kitts, and they were champions as well. So again, congratulations to them. We're still taking your calls here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. If we have no calls right now, I'll take a break to give a shout out to the sponsors. And when we come back, we'll keep the conversation going right here on WINNFM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drug Store's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Store's curbside pickup service.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. It's Voices for Wednesday, May 18, 2022. I know, as I've said earlier, a lot really has been happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis, across the region, internationally. And of course, the phone lines are open in order for you to give your take on the recent events and things that you would want to comment on, for us to have a very fruitful conversation here today. Of course, the usual is the politics and all that has been going on since early March, and then, of course, with the dissolution of Parliament, the termination of 6 government ministers. So that you know already. That is not news, that you know already. But a lot really has happened since then. And, as you would say, well, that escalated quickly. A lot really has happened, and people have been, weighing in on these developments, all that has been going on, and giving their take on it. But we want to hear from the ordinary person on the road. We want to hear from you, your view on the local situation or the politics right now, in terms of not just what you think the outcome of the general election would be, but what effect is this having on the country? Is this taking a toll on the country? The back and forth between the political parties, and not just political parties, but people generally. Of course, we all have different views. So the back and forth between people who share a different view, what is that doing to us as a people? And we've had this conversation before, where we are of the view that in St. Kitts and Nevis, we're always talking politics, where we're always at the polls, you're always voting, and being in election mode is very frequent for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, because, outside of the National Assembly elections, we have Nevis Island Assembly elections. And so perhaps this would be a good time to have the both elections. So you have the National Assembly elections now, and then perhaps a few months after, you have the Nevis Island Assembly elections. So, for 5 years or for 4 years, you can take a break and relax, instead of having the general, and then about a year or two after, you have the local, then you're back again for the federal. So across the board, we've always been in, campaign mode, and everybody have always been talking about their pushing their narrative, or pushing their issues, pushing, as we would say, their agenda, and saying what they think should happen, or what they think is wrong, what they think is right. But what toll is this, having on the country, and how does it look from a regional standpoint? How are people looking at St. Kitts and Nevis, and how is this affecting us as a people? I mean, families have been torn apart. People stop talking to each other. Sometimes you have a good friend, and just because you have a different view, they're like, no, may want to have a conversation with you. I mean, at the same time, too, it is really hard to have a conversation with some people because they don't want to have a real meaningful conversation and hear you out, and then you hear them out. We have a caller on the line, so we'll take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Devon, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
This is Carlton. I decided to take a couple minutes from my work and give you a call because I like the road that you're going down. First of all, let me say to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I am very serious. No matter how angry, how upset one become, do not resort to violence or pulling down the country with words. Let us stay campaigning. All campaigns are hard. Let us campaign, stick to the love of God, and move on. But let me tell you my experience in this campaign. It is worse than any campaign I have ever done. All of my friends, they have forsaken me over Timothy. And that is not good. I am very disappointed. However, I am leaving the door open for every one of them to come and let's sit down before the election if possible and understand that vexation like that ain't really mean anything. We are to try respect and keep our friends no matter what. Devon, have a good day and I'll be listening you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Dupont, for your contribution to this program. It is 22 minutes past the hour of 11, and we're still taking your calls here on WINNFM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. So, as I've said before, that is the main topic right now. The main topic right now in terms of the local politics and all that has been going on. People have been, and rightfully so, you express your views on the issues that are at hand, and you would say, well, this is where I stand and this is what I prefer, and others would come and say, this is where I stand and this is where this is what I prefer. Sorry. But let's head back to the phone lines. We want to take some more calls. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Devon?
Hi, good morning.
Yes. Yes. Greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners from sin and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, I would like to say quickly, there is no solution to the confusion and the problems and so that are going on here in society, in every area, politics, economics, church, family, businesses, that sort of stuff. In all areas, we are suffering the judgment of Jesus Christ and punishment of Jesus Christ on us because we have no fear of him and we are not doing things according to the Bible. And so all of these confusion, you see, are just the symptoms of us going astray, going contrary to the word of God, in doing things contrary to the word of God. And unless we repent and start to obey the word of God and get right with Jesus Christ, the toll, you see, being exacted on this nation will even get worse and worse to our complete destruction and ruin once we do not turn and confess our sins before Jesus Christ and repent of them and start to obey his word. And in the end of it all, if we die in our sins without Jesus Christ, we're going to end up in hell for all eternity, which is the worst of all. But even now, we will bear the negative consequences of Jesus Christ's judgment on us because we are, as a people and as individuals, going contrary to the word of God. And all of these problems, I mostly lay them at the feet of the church and not at the politicians' feet. Mostly, I say. Because, yes, there are a degree of blame that also go to the politicians, the supporters, and that sort of stuff. But most of the blames and the biggest reasons for the blames really go at the feet of the church, because Jesus Christ set up the church to be the light of this world and the salt of the earth, and instead we are the light of this world and salt of this earth. We are just as worldly as the world, and instead we lead in the world in righteousness, and in the light of Jesus, the world is leading us in its darkness. So I put most of the blame at Jesus. I know that does not give political mileage, but that is the truth of the Bible. It will not buy votes, but it's still the truth of the Bible. And only Jesus is the solution and answer to all of our problems and life. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. We are still taking your calls here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. You can send your comments via WhatsApp at 662-2204. That is 662-2204. And remember, we're live on Facebook at WINNMedia SKN and our YouTube channel as well. Let's head back to the phone lines. We have some more callers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Not bad. Just giving thanks for life.
Devon, with your permission, I would like to respond to something that Mrs. Henry said to, not to me, but about me yesterday, not on your station, but I'm sure she's listening. And let me say good morning to Mrs. Henry and all who are hearing my voice, especially your last caller, Gregory. I'm going to ask you a question, Devon. And, I would like you to engage if you care to. Let me ask you this, Devon. Do you believe that Jesus died for you? Just yes or no.
If I believe Jesus died for me?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe.
Okay. Now, the Bible that we read from, it's a book of a people, person, time and space. You and I wasn't there when what we read in this book, as of any other books that we may read. Now, Gregory just said that everything is in Jesus Christ. Now, according to what we have in this book that we are reading, the book that we gravitate to, it tells us all the greatness of Jesus, all that he did. He healed the sick, he raised the dead, he fed the multitude, he walked on water. Now, to most of us, and I'm referring to us African people, black people, most of us have a painting of a picture in our homes. We have it in the churches of a white, blue-eyed boy with long hair. According to that narrative. Now, the question that we should ask ourselves, who divided us, Devon? Who colonized us? Because you see, Devon, before we received what we got through colonialism, we were a people. We had our spirituality before we have Christianity. And mind you, nothing is wrong with Christianity, but the Christians themselves. Now, Devon, there's a difference between belief and knowing. Because I said before, and I'm going to say it again, to know your story, Devon, you have to know his story as well. The Catholic Church implement slavery on us. Let me repeat this. The Catholic Church in 1618 imposed slavery upon us, African people. And that is playing out on us today. So when Gregory is going to say that all that he have just stated is in Jesus, the Romans killed Jesus. Who are the Romans, Devon? I am asking this because of their ethnicity. Who were the Romans? They gave us a picture of a painting in Jesus, the story of Jesus in their narrative. They killed him. Now let us look at the life of the Jesus that they gave us in the book. He committed no sin of his own, yet they killed him. And we are glorifying that today. That narrative, all that they have ascribed unto him, the greatness, he walking on water, all the miracles, all the parables that he spoke and all that he did in their narrative. Can't you see this is why they have us in this misery? Because Devon, before the Europeans colonized us, we had spirituality in harmony with nature and with our Creator, Devon. There's no way you can look in a mirror and see your reflection and tell yourself that that white picture is your salvation. If we were created in the image of our Creator, when you look in the mirror, Devon, you're a young man and you have your future ahead of you. When you look in the mirror, Devon, if you reflect on what the Word says, that we were created in the image of the Creator, do you see that white person, Devon? The logic and the fallacies that is in this book we need to separate. Because again, Devon, you cannot know your story without knowing his story. And his story that he gave us is dipped in our ancestors' blood. The Church of England, the Catholic Church, the whole of Europe, the atrocities and the genocide that they have put upon us. And Mrs. Henry asked me yesterday some theatrical question. Well, Miss Henry, let me say to you if you're listening, to know the God that made man, you have to stop following the God that man have made. You are pontificating in the misery of the colonizers, and you are regurgitating, Mrs. Henry, and you, Greg, also. You're not helping our people to know who we are, who we were, and what we have fallen from. The enemy have sown the seed of corruption. Life has taken on the form of flesh, Devon, and so to have death. And those who are killing us, they are the ones. And I know there are those who are going to say, well, Africans are killing themselves too. Yes, that is happening. But it's happening because of the system imposed on us by them. The antithesis of life is death. They told us Jesus conquered death on the cross. Well, I know I don't have time, Devon.
All right.
But if I get back in and you will permit me, I'm going to break down the crucifixion. The nailing of his hands and feet, the piercing on his side, and the crown on his head. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, and thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. It is 11:33, and we're still taking your calls here on WINNFM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. The phone lines are open. We'll take this other caller. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Caller? Okay, we seem to have lost that call. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 762-0989. We are still taking your calls. We break at 12 for the headline news, and we come back thereafter to continue the conversation. The call is back. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Devon? Yeah, sorry, it's me again. Devon, the first set of people, Africans, experienced slavery from were their own. Long before the Europeans went into Africa, Africa were enslaving their own. And not only did Africans were enslaving their own, the particular religion of animism, in which they see themselves at one and not different to the animals and that sort of stuff, did give them a mindset to be where slavery wasn't wrong. And that is why they were quick to sell one another to the Europeans and Arabs, because of their religion where they saw themselves at one and no different to the rest of God's creation, including animals. And so when they saw animals taking advantage of other animals, they saw it as a natural thing. And so in their mind, they didn't see anything wrong with it because of their religion. And when England eventually became shameful of the act in slavery and did their best to finish with slavery, the same Africans was very angry with the Englishman because of the money and trinkets and so that they were getting from the Englishman and for selling them the slaves, the black slaves and that sort of stuff. So Johnny need to get history right. But above all else, is that nobody is glorifying, well, no sensible person is glorifying in the fact that the Romans and the Jews murdered Jesus. What we are glorifying in is that his death saved sinners, saved true Christians from their sins and from hell, because without the blood of Jesus Christ, we would be in hell and we would have no hope, because hell would be our portion if the blood of Christ was not shed for his elect or chosen sinners. But Johnny is an apostate and a heretic, and he's twisting and perverting the Bible. And he's supposed to know better. He's supposed to know better. And when it comes to pictures and that sort of stuff, really and truly, the Bible recommends that we do not make images of God, whether black, white, or whatever. Because when you make images of God, you give special reverence and so to that picture, because you think it is God or you think it is Jesus, and Jesus is God. Jesus is God Almighty. And the Bible does not make any issue of the color of Jesus, because the color of Jesus doesn't matter. And if Jesus is a white man with blue hair and blonde eyes, I can still worship him as God, because he died for me as a sinner.
Well, caller, we're going to take some more calls, so thank you for your
very much
contribution to this program. It's 11:37. We break at 12 for the headline news. We're still taking your calls here on Voices. Call us and express your views on any matter that you would want to. Today is more so of an open ear. We're not focusing specifically on anything, so we're taking your calls for you to give your take on any matter that you would like to. So let's head back to the phone lines and hear from the callers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Devon, sorry, I don't want to be a tit for tat, but let me say this. Greg, we said if he was white or whatever. You notice he said if Jesus was white or whatever, but he never said if Jesus was black. Now, yes, the very fact that we weren't there when all this Jesus being on earth, you and I wasn't there, Devon. The point I am making is there's a difference between knowing and believing. Because Gregory just said that if he was white, blue hair, or whatever, he would worship him. But he never said if he was black. Now, whether he was black or not, we're reading from a King James version. If it's a version, then why not we apply our mind to the original? Because Devon, all that is in the book is our reality.
Right.
There is fallacies in it because it was tampered with by the enemy. It was tampered with by the enemy, Devon. We are divided. We have been enslaved. We've been colonized. By whom? Yes, I am aware of the Arabs and what they did, but the Arabs didn't give us Christianity. Christianity came to us by the Europeans. Gregory, Christianity came to us by the Europeans. I am very much aware of what the Arabs did and how they come to do what they did. When Mansa Musa made his journey from Mecca down into Egypt with his finances, that's how the Arabs got to know what was in our space. And the Europeans came because of greed, Devon. You can do your research. Just Google the first European that made their entrance onto African continent. And when they saw the African wearing gold, that like it was nothing, they went back to the people and they told them that these are a set of people that didn't know the value of gold. Gregory.
Okay, well, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WINN-FM 98.9. Stick and stay. We will be right back.
Found the sound 98.9. WINN-FM.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop
www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. About 15 minutes to the hour before we break for the headline news. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. Okay, we lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989 or 762-0989. We have about 15 minutes left before we wrap up. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, man. I thought you were going to celebrate still.
Good
Lord,
morning.
watch me. The next thing you are going to want is a session now. Come down here and guard me with trophy.
It was a good
It's a good thing my
sport.
grandmother and my grandfather from Nevis.
Ah, okay.
So I could come and celebrate.
You have some rights.
Yeah, that, you notice anytime anything come up, you hear petition. But my father and my grandmother from Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming back. Anyway, I must compliment the Charlestown Primary School. Were you at the meet?
No, I wasn't there. Somebody went live on Facebook and I was able to watch. But from our reports, it was very
ain't nothing
competitive.
like being there.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing. I used to go to all of them, eh? Now I got to listen. It was good. I mean, you all come down here and clean us up. Eh? Next thing you know, when you are ready to succeed, tell me. Good morning, Journey. Good morning. I'm coming to you. Now, let me ask a question. Guys, a question. The issue with the raise to the public servants in St. Kitts Nevis. Now, was the NIA given extra than the usual subvention to cover it?
I don't know.
Because if you're accustomed to give them so much, and you now increase their salary by 10%, you would expect them to get an increase to cover it, wouldn't you?
To cover the increase that they're giving?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
So that to me is the question I am asking, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't tell me thing gone up and I getting the same thing. But anyway, peace be unto our country.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
But before you go, there was some, I don't want to say misunderstanding, but this is what I understood when it came to the increase. I think for federal workers there's a 10% increase, and this 10% will come into effect at the next pay cycle, which would be this month in April, and you'll get the 10% one time. Then as for the NIA, you'll get 5% at this pay cycle, right, another 5% in 2023.
So getting compound,
and so over the 2 or 3 year period, it will add up to be 15%. I stand to be corrected, but that is what I understood it to mean.
You understood it is?
That it would have been 10% for the federal workers, where they would get the 10% one time, and then hold on, let me finish now. And then for Nevis now, you get the 5%, 5%, 5%.
So I am wondering what caused the difference in the disparity in the rates. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, yeah.
Because remember, the reason for going for 5% is based on the ability to manage it. Isn't that what you said?
Right.
You said 10%, but at our present rate, we are given the state of the economy. Because for some strange reason, people seem to have forgotten that 20 and 21, the place is shut down, you know.
Which one do you think is better? The 5% over a period of time, which sounds more manageable, or the 10% one time?
It's who got the packet and who got the who?
No, but I'm asking you, which one you think is better in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, the management of the economy and the finances.
I'm thankful for what they're giving. But as an economist and statistician, I want these rates to be related to the rate of inflation. That's all makes sense to you?
Yeah, but you answered the question, yeah?
That's the answer.
Okay.
And none of them touching it, you know? What exactly is the rate of inflation? So you give me 10%. and the rate of inflation is 15, or you give me 5% and the rate of inflation is 15. Now the compound one is better. Somebody was saying that if you got a bank table, you could see what it work out to. But my main thing is I want to know if extra, because if they gave the extra, then I say you could manage the 10. But if you feel, given what you get or what you expect to get, then you have to make a decision. So divisions are in a spot where they can just say, well, we're going to give 10%. Because once you put in 10%, you're gone in until the next salary increase the next 5-10 years, eh? You follow?
I'm following you.
Yeah, so I am interested in, I'm kind of out of the system. I would like to know what was the rate of inflation, especially now. So I am thankful they're giving something, all of them. But I want to know, because the rate of inflation determines the value of money, You get 10% and the private sector is going to jack up the price by the 10 or the 12, wipe it out. Because no matter what the government do, the government make changes so that the price of the goods go down. All they see it as recouping any losses from 2021. You don't know that? Edevan?
No, I did not know that.
Think about it. They carry down this, and bread gone up, this gone up, that gone up, import duty off, VAT off. I mean, the government making losses,
All right.
Even the neighbors, nothing on this, nothing, no duty. So it had no VAT before, right? So, all right, no VAT. Take off the custom duty. What significant decrease in price do you expect? You ever did accounts?
No.
Eh?
No, I did not know.
Okay, they have this way of costing goods. The first in, stock taken, you can price them at the first price that when they came in or the last price. First in, FIFO and LIFO. I am still watching. Right now, to my good friend, Journey.
Well, quickly, because we want to take some more calls.
Yes, Greg, I'm glad that Greg answered you. The truth is, the Arabs took out over 40 million Africans into slavery all across the Pacific, the Mediterranean. They, and they enforce Islam on Africans. You don't hear a word about how all the Islam, up to today, all the trouble they're having in Africa is the Islamic section trying to take over the whole of Africa. Even after the so-called Christians stop. Up until today, they're selling slaves, they're selling Africans in Libya. In the Arab countries, they treat them like slaves still. Nobody could excuse what some churches did and Christians did. There's no excusing. But this all-out onslaught. I mean, you need to read. You see what happened? We read these things from these atheists, so-called black conscious people, who give you half a story. Half a story. Christianity was in Africa before the white people came.
All right.
And he knows that.
All right. Well, Carla, thank you for your contribution.
So please, I asked you already, are you an atheist or an agnostic? Because the way you speak, and the things you say. I pray for you. God love you. And the same Jesus who died for me, he died for you.
All right, Carla, thank you for your contribution to this program.
If the thing is black, we were not the only set of people to go into slavery. Black people were enslaving black people, all in the Bible. Because you say, wait, but the first was black? Well, read that Bible there and see who was enslaving people.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution to this program, Carla. We have a few minutes left before we break at 12 for the headline news. There were some comments on the Facebook live stream that I wanted to get in. Dennis Franks says, we need to have one election, one government. I am tired of the divisions between the two islands. Another comment, I guess, in regards to what two previous callers were saying was that I think it needs a separation of church and the state. Okay, that last caller is correct about religion. I think he was referring to the previous caller before this one. So these are some of the comments here on the Facebook Live. But this one, we needed to have one election, one government. I'm tired of the division between the two islands. The one government for me suggests a one governance system, which we had a story here not too long ago from Larry Vaughn suggesting that there should be a one government or one governance system. As you know, for many years there has been this, what to describe it as, boy, a rift or this confusion going on between our people. Think it's a Nevis of what Nevis should get and what think it should get and what, back and forth, and it's causing some serious damage, and we may want to take it lightly. We may want to treat it as, it's a normal thing. We've always been going at each other. But it appears as if it is going to get worse. It appears as if it is going to get worse, where we constantly go at each other. In the name of what? In the name of what? So, I've been following all that has been going on. Of course, with the recent, dissolution of Parliament and everybody trying to get themselves ready, people, starting to weigh in on these developments and all that has really been going on. There's a lot of animosity and confusion going on. But in terms of the one governance system, Mr. Vaughan was suggesting that Sinkis and Nevis operate under one entity. So instead of having the federal government or the government of Sinkis and Nevis and a Nevis Island administration, he is suggesting that we have a one government system. Now, part of this, or the response from that suggestion, was that will the people of Nevis accept that in terms of not having the NIA? So I think that's a very interesting conversation that needs to be had. That's a very interesting conversation. And, perhaps we're going to invite Mr. Vaughan to come back and we'll have a conversation on that and hear from the callers their take on it. But very interesting conversation that we think we can have and provide some meaningful discourse on that. Yes, should Sinkis and Nevis have a one government, one governance system? In terms of elections, this may be the time for us to just have one election. Well, when we say one election, I guess you're referring to, or we're suggesting that you vote for the National Assembly representatives and then you vote for the Nevis Island Assembly representatives one time. So instead of voting this month and then that month, you vote for them one time. What we're seeing now is that with a federal election, which is very near, and some political pundits have predicted that there may be a local election coming soon, we may find ourselves in a situation where we're going to have the federal, no, and then the local, immediately after. So at least both elections would be close. But the recommendation is to make it one where when you're voting for federal, you vote for local. It sounds easy on paper. It sounds easy for us to say. But I can only imagine that would need some serious planning and making sure that you do things properly. As we know, whenever you're dealing with electoral matters, there's always some sort of confusion stemming from one side or the other, where people are saying, yeah, you're doing things bad, and some saying, yeah, you're doing things right. So this is something that perhaps would have to be approached by a committee set up not by government, but perhaps a committee represented, or where there are representatives from each political organization, each political party, in order for them to have their ideas and views heard on this matter. Guys, we're out of time, so we'll have to take this break now for the headline news. When we come back, we'll continue Voices only on WINNFM 98.9. We'll have the headline news, and when we come back, we'll keep the conversation going. We'll keep the calls coming, and we want to hear from the listeners, their take on, all that is going on. As I said earlier, of course, there's the situation of the local politics. Elections are coming, and the place is getting really tense. I don't know if you feel it, but I felt it. I feel it right now. The place is getting really tense, and everybody is trying to get things in place. Everybody is trying to, have their voices heard, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. You have an issue that you would want to comment on, and you take a particular position, and you stand by that position. It's 12 o'clock. We'll take this break for the headline news. When we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Dealing well with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Our in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Yolanda Weeks.
And I am Devon Cornelius.
Making the headlines.
St. Kitts and Nevis has seen COVID-19 progress, but must remain vigilant.
Fuel prices continue to be an issue for the region, and in Jamaica, the People's National Party is urging the government to reduce taxes on fuel to help mitigate the issue. Internationally, Nigerians turn to charcoal as cooking gas prices soar. Fuel prices have tripled in less than a year, forcing many people to use firewood to cook their meals. Now, the details.
Health officials in St. Kitts and Nevis are monitoring the COVID-19 situation in the country, as active cases have been fluctuating over the past few weeks. However, active cases have climbed up to more than 20 in recent times, the highest being 27, as revealed on the COVID-19 dashboard dated Tuesday, May 17. 24 of those cases were reported on St. Kitts and 3 on Nevis. Though the Federation has made significant strides with its containment of COVID-19 cases, officials advise that the COVID-19 pandemic is not over. In an interview with WINNFM, the medical chief of staff at the Joseph N. France General Hospital, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, reminded the public to be vigilant and responsible. He said, quote, "The virus is not gone. It's still out there. If we drop our guard, we will see a resurgence. We need to take personal responsibility at this stage. No one is going to force you to wear a mask in most places anymore, but we all know that the mask protects, and we should still choose to wear it, especially in crowded, enclosed spaces. We also know that the vaccine gives the best protection, and we should get vaccinated or boosted if we haven't as yet," Wilkinson stated. The vaccination report shows that 78% of adults have been fully immunized with a COVID-19 approved vaccine. This has not changed in almost 1 month. As it relates to booster shots, only 10.1% of the adult population have been boosted. Meanwhile, the vaccine campaign for children between ages 12 to 17 began on September 1, 2021, and since that time, 17.8% are fully vaccinated.
In regional news, fuel prices continue to be an issue for the region, and in Jamaica, the People's National Party is urging the government to reduce taxes on fuel to help mitigate the issue. Carib Update has that story.
Jamaica's main opposition, People's National Party, is again calling on government to reduce the taxes on fuel. Senior members of the PNP, along with busloads of placard-bearing party supporters, gathered at the National Heroes Park on Monday to demonstrate against rising costs of living.
We're showing solidarity with the people of Jamaica who are facing a wicked crisis, a very challenging time from the cost of living, and in particular from the gas price that feeds into so many other prices in the economy, from transportation to electricity and everything that relies on those things.
PNP President Mark Golden said the PNP has been calling for the government to put measures in place to arrest the runaway fuel cost in Jamaica.
We feel that Jamaican people want to see the People's National Party stepping up in their interests to try and find workable solutions to this crisis.
In his budget presentation earlier in March, Golden outlined an approach that would see a cut in the gas tax and an easing of the burden on motorists. He said he is concerned that the government has not moved to implement this measure while gas prices rise on a weekly basis. That's why he has drafted the ministerial order under the Provisional Collection of Tax Act, calling for the cap to be imposed.
We have made a suggestion in the budget debate as to how to cushion the crisis in relation to the gas price, because the budget is predicated on an import price of oil of $67.50 US per barrel. We all know that the price of oil on the world market is much higher than that. And we have said that the taxes on the fuel that is derived from that oil should be capped as if the price at which oil was imported was that budgeted price of $67.50 and not $100 US or more.
We now bring you these international reports.
It's been 2.5 years since Mahmoud Usman switched from firewood and charcoal to cooking gas to prepare his meals. He says it's fast, easier, and healthier. But with higher prices eating deep into his earnings, he's wondering if that's a wise move.
I used to pay the equivalent of $1.50 for gas in the small cylinder. The price has tripled now.
The rising cost of gas for cooking has pushed many in Nigeria to resort to using wood and charcoal. Here at the local charcoal market in Dotsa, new consignments arrive by the truckloads. Business is brisk.
We sell 200 to 400 bags of charcoal daily. On a very good day, we sell more than 500 bags.
To make those 500 bags, dozens of trees must have been cut down. Cooking gas usage in Africa's biggest oil and gas producer rose by 60% in 2020, exceeding 1 million metric tons. Sales grew further last year, but then slowed down due to reductions in supply. The country now has to import gas at higher prices.
Importing, there is a lot of taxes on it, maybe a custom duty, something like that. So it makes the product to be very high when it lands in the country. So that's the challenges we are having now.
The jump in cooking gas prices for Nigerians already struggling with rising inflation is also reversing gains made in protecting trees in a country where 10 million are cut down every year.
Officials say they hope increasing people's use of cooking gas will save millions of trees and the environment. But the high jump in prices of liquefied petroleum gas will make that harder to achieve.
Nigeria's state oil company blames the rising cost on global price increases. But with the country still importing most of its gas, users are bracing for more price hikes. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Kano, Nigeria.
As North Korea battles an explosive COVID-19 outbreak, leader Kim Jong-un has slammed his country's response to the crisis. Kim met government officials on Tuesday and, according to state media, called their efforts immature and inadequate. Since North Korea first acknowledged the outbreak last week, it has reported some 1.7 million people with fever symptoms and more than 60 deaths. The country has mobilized its armed forces to help fight the virus, with state television on Tuesday showing large numbers of troops gathered in a square in the capital. Yet North Korea has not started mass vaccinations and has limited testing capabilities. Many experts are concerned it may be difficult to assess how widely and rapidly the disease is spreading. All this comes as Kim is said to be considering testing an intercontinental ballistic missile in the next few days. According to US and South Korean officials, the test is expected to happen ahead of US President Joe Biden's first official trip to South Korea on Friday. A weapons test could overshadow Biden's trip and complicate international efforts to offer Pyongyang aid in its battle against COVID. A UN spokesperson warned on Tuesday efforts by North Korea to curb the virus could have devastating consequences for human rights in the country.
This is Larne Seaport, where customs checks are carried out on goods arriving in Northern Ireland from Great Britain under the post-Brexit Northern Ireland Protocol. It established a customs border within the United Kingdom itself as a way of protecting the EU's single market while avoiding a hard border on the island of Ireland. The protocol is now at the heart of an escalating dispute between the UK and the EU and has led to the breakdown of power-sharing government in Northern Ireland.
I am announcing our intention to introduce legislation in the coming weeks to make changes in the protocol. Our preference remains a negotiated solution with the EU.
That was the British government announcing its intention to take unilateral action if changes to the protocol can't be negotiated. By promising to enact legislation, the hope is to encourage the EU to compromise and also to repair devolved government at Stormont by enticing the Democratic Unionist Party back into power sharing with the nationalist Sinn Féin. The DUP, who cautiously welcomed the move, say the protocol undermines Northern Ireland's right to equal treatment as part of the UK.
The DUP warned about the consequences of this protocol, and that's why we opposed it from the beginning, because we recognised the political and economic instability it would cause and the harm it would create for the Union itself.
The European Union is likely to see this move by the British government as a threat, and it has warned about the consequences of unilateral action, potentially including a legal challenge if they believe the British government has breached international law, potentially even down the line resulting in a trade war. And as much as the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary say they hope for a negotiated resolution to all of this, it's frankly quite hard to see the EU capitulating under the shadow of a threat. The Irish Foreign Minister said it was damaging to trust, with a general lack of trust already an aggravating factor.
I think that is a significant problem. In Northern Ireland, in a recent poll, 4% expressed trust in the UK government, which is a very low percent for a resident sovereign government. And I think within the Conservative Party, there's all sorts of games being played which we don't actually understand necessarily from here between ministers. And then there's another factor, which is the American factor. Exactly how would they want to negotiate their interest in Northern Ireland? So all of these things have not yet crystallised, and we have to wait for the consequences.
All of which leaves the wider dispute and Northern Ireland's problems within it little closer to resolution. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, Belfast.
You were listening to the WINNFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were:
St. Kitts and Nevis has seen COVID-19 progress, but must remain vigilant.
Fuel prices continue to be an issue for the region, and in Jamaica, the People's National Party is urging the government to reduce taxes on fuel to help mitigate the issue. Internationally, Nigerians turn to charcoal as cooking gas prices soar. Fuel prices have tripled in less than a year, forcing many people to use firewood to cook their meals. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Welcome back to Voices here on WINNFM 98.9. It is 12:26, guys. We have about an hour of a conversation of an hour left to have a conversation on the issues affecting the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Of course, I want to hear from you, your take, and let's have a very meaningful dialogue here this afternoon. The phone lines are open and we head to take this first call. Okay, we lost that caller. Let's take this other one. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon.
And how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Just before you break for the lunch, you was gleaning from one Larry Vaughan.
Sorry?
I find it to be very interesting. I don't foresee, though, that Nevis will have one election, given the island of Nevis and given the region. I think Trinidad and Tobago have a maybe similar system. And I'm not quite sure if they have a federal election and Tobago have their own local election. But given Nevis is a separate island, the affairs of Nevis ought to be governed by the locals on the island, I think. That's my own opinion. It can glean and it can extrapolate from best practices. And you can see a best practice in that. The Prime Minister makes his announcement about the 10%, and then the Nevis Island administration from that aspect made a similar announcement as to separate packages of 5%, whatever. And so the federal would probably lead the charge because they are representatives in the federal parliament that would hail from the island of Nevis. But Mr. Cornelius, permit me to do some housekeeping before I delve into this matter, because I want to go into this matter. But permit me, please, not long. I listened to Greg and Mrs. Henry. And Mrs. Henry, I shall deal with you on a different matter, something you raised about the shooting in Buffalo, where you equated to black people shoot black people too. Yes, but you cannot equate to what happened in Buffalo to black people shooting. They're totally different. But albeit it's killing, and we don't condone no killing, but we're gonna deal with that on a different radio station. Greg said he used the word enemy, and Greg said that the Africans see themselves as they see all life forms, animals and everything, which is good. Because Greg is familiar with what Paul said. Paul said that the whole world grown and mourned. He didn't refer to just human beings. He referred to all right, here we have a civilization. We have good, thriving civilization. Today we have modernity where you have these high-rise buildings. And you have 1,000 persons might have lived in those buildings. And here comes an earthquake. Bam! And so many people die. Why? Was this the way it was intended to be? No. So the whole world groaned and mourned for the delivery, for the salvation, because everything has to be restored. All right? So what are you going to blame? The earthquake? What are you going to blame? A tsunami? These are phenomena now that occur. Did they always occur this way, to disrupt things and everything, and then have human beings and animals? But what? In all of this, the animals are more sensible than us, because when disaster comes, they run to higher ground. And we all human beings, we are all in our activities, and we get slaughtered by a tsunami, because we live close to the coast. So, Greg, the word animist is not an African word. It's a word that the Europeans did not understand the deepness of African spirituality, that we see all life forms and we respect all life forms. Fast forward to Mrs. Henry. Mrs. Henry, some of the things are recorded, and yes, the Arabs, and also the Christian borrow from the Arabs and want to do so. We've seen it in our community where we see the Indian community now, and we see the Chinese community exploiting us the way the white man exploits us, our economy and so. But it all started with the Hindus. They still have the caste system in India, where you see other persons are down to the economical bottom and others are up. It started with the Hindus with slavery and all sorts of form. That slavery morphed into egregious ways of servitude to humanity. Whereas other slaves, where you say, where Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers. How could my brother sell me into a condition of that magnitude? Okay? So it's a long history, and it's going to last for probably 6,000 years. And we are just in the end time of the 6,000 years. This is why we are here now. Our redemption draweth nigh. Greg, the word animist does not refer to us. We see things that if we cut a tree and we realize that this tree will give us food, why are we going to destroy the tree that gives us food? Yes, we might want to limb off a branch or two, but we don't just destroy things like that. Because the earth itself is mourning the way how they take, about Nigeria with the coals. They're going back to coals because of the shortage of gas. You don't just take Mother Earth and weep Mother Earth, because the minerals in Mother Earth is like the veins and the veins of Mother Earth. When you take certain minerals from the earth hurts. Just like you dig me or you cut me with a knife, my body hurts. The earth hurts. Everything hurts in creation. Not only just the human body. We don't even kick dogs. We don't kick dogs. We don't kick animals. People who say, why you don't even kick a dog? How are you going to kick a human being? So we give reverence to all things. That is life. That is not our life. This life, our life that we enjoy and all plants and animals enjoy, it's not ours. We are just here to just enjoy it, and we must respect all things. So, Greg, read Paul. Read Paul, Greg. And Mrs. Henry, it started long time, but in our space, it's Christianity. We must point fingers at Christianity because the white man copycat from the Arabs, and the Arabs copycat from the Hindu, and they all have us here. Yet they are living their life when we don't introduce civilization to them, and they say, thanks but no thanks. So this is how they treat us. But we are not to be fault. We are in fault, but we are not innocent. We violated the Most High ways and admonition. And I agree with you, Greg, about the pictures of the white boy and the white girl. But it's the Christians who gave us a picture in the first place. They gave us a picture, and they told us, this is Jesus. So you can't blame us, not me. I am aware now. But Mrs. Henry will say about, everybody knows that Jesus ain't white. But these people who is responsible for us is like a government giving us something that they know is poison, and we keep drinking it, slow poison.
All right.
Not saying that this government does it, but it's like government and people who are in authority, they are responsible for human beings and the way they enact laws, so that these laws could be down for the benefit of human society. So they gave us the picture. It is them, and a picture worth 1,000 words. So
all right.
Say that?
Well, thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. It is 12:34, and the phone lines are open. We're taking your calls here on Voices on WINNFM 98.9. Call us at 466-0989 or 762-0989. We have another caller on the line, so let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Devon, now that last caller who just said something about government give us, Devon, all of us who have taken the vaccine, just follow me closely on this, Devon. You are a young man. If you have taken the vaccine and you decide to start a family, Devon, and 10 years later down, 5 years later, your child born deformed. What if we start to see this become a phenomenon between our space? How would we know? You see, because right now there is so many complaints that people are having after they have taken the vaccine.
But let me ask you this, though. When you say that you take the vaccine and 10 years down the road, or whatever time frame, you have a child and there's something is wrong, you're making that assumption or that statement on what grounds, on what basis?
No, Devon, I am asking the question. You see, because the thing is,
No.
remember,
I understand what you're saying. I understand that you're asking the question, but I'm asking you now, on what grounds?
well, you see, now let us go to India. And I have to use the word alleged, because it is alleged that a certain, what's the word I'm looking at? Philanthropist, and I'm not going to call any name. It is alleged, you can do your research, that they've been giving vaccine in India, and thousands upon thousands of children were born deformed, and the finger was pointed to a certain organization. You see?
All right.
Yvonne, this vaccine, what we had, what was given to us by CARFA, was given to those in authority who told us, oh yes, we must take the vaccine. Was any of those people, and I've raised this early when all this was happening, I asked the question, is our people who are doctors, chief medical doctor and CMO and all of that, were they chemists? Are they chemists? Because while you are a medical doctor, you know, you study medicine, but what do they know about being a chemist?
But you say that,
And
just
yes,
say
there
what?
are those who say, well, yes, there are black chemists. Point taken. But Devon, who passed down this information to CARFA and passed it on to all the Caribbean islands? That's the point. This is where I'm trying to drive our people's thoughts. You know? So the thing is, and there are going to be those who are going to say, well, it's just that black people die from the vaccine. Devon, these people are willing to take down their own. It's them kill Christ. Didn't they kill the Christ, the Savior of the world? This is what I want our people to look beyond, because if Jesus was so innocent, pure, committed no sins of his own, came from them in the picture that they gave the world, didn't the scripture say the lie travel faster than the truth? So I am trying to bring our people to a higher consciousness of thinking, because when they tell us what is faith, what is by faith Abraham achieved those? What is faith without reasoning?
But you know, I listened to you and what you just said, but you said you're trying to bring our people to a higher consciousness,
Because Devon,
right?
Devon.
But hold on, you're doing that using the vaccine as an example or a scenario on the basis of not what you know for a fact, but on claims and allegations. So are you confident? Yes. That's the question. Do you know that for?
You see, Devon, there's a rapid side effect.
Because if you're not sure, then how then should we be sure?
That's the question. Because you see, no, for those who...
No, that's what I'm saying to you. So you're giving us this information, but you're not sure. So if you're not sure, how should we be sure? How can we be sure?
The thing I'm saying is, right, we can ask ourselves, like, for instance, we can say, why, I wonder if I hadn't taken this vaccine, if this would have been happening to me. So yes, we are not sure, but the thing is, there are evidence in other ways, and Devon, remember also, right, that we were used as guinea pig in many of these vaccines and viruses that they have thrown upon us. They did it. It's there. The Ebola, the AIDS, the syphilis, they have experimented on us over these decades. So how can we trust them to give us a vaccine now and not knowing what is in the vaccine?
All right.
Thank you for hearing it.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. We're still taking your calls here on Voices on WINN FM 98.9. It is 12:40. We end at 1:30. The phone lines are open, and we're heading back to the phone lines to take some more callers. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Devon. God's blessings to everyone. Now, I would like to say a few things very quickly, as possible.
Before you continue, right? Because I'm trying to avoid this back and forth between you and the other caller. as quite frankly, it makes absolutely no sense if you're going to come and say the same thing that you've said before. If that is the case, allow somebody else to call in. All right?
Okay, but let me make some points that I never made before. Let me say some things that I never said before, okay? Okay, number one, you read from a comment that a caller said there should be separation between church and state. Now, everybody have the idea, but there cannot be a total separation between church and state because everybody have their church because your belief, whatever belief you hold to, even atheism, that is your religion. And you're going to see things through your religion, through your belief. And that is your church. So when you talk about right and wrong, you're talking about morality. And when you're talking about morality, you're going to talk from the viewpoint of how you see things, which is your church. So there cannot be, in the end, a separation of church and state. It's not impossible because you have to talk about what government do, be it right or wrong. And you're going to talk from the viewpoint of your worldview, which is your church. Now, even where the vaccines are concerned, a lot of people the world over are complaining about severe injuries done to them because of the vaccines, and a lot of deaths have been recorded through VAERS and other things. Even the government, U.S. government VAERS system and so have recorded thousands, many thousands of deaths due to these COVID vaccines. And so, and not only that, they're also, the best science, the best research have also said that the masks don't really work as people think how it works in protecting you.
All right.
So these are things. But quickly, I would also like to say quickly, Devon, I'd like to say quickly, where the civil rights movement are concerned, we're taking care of the poor concerned, hospitals, schools, and that sort of stuff. Nobody has built more churches, hospitals, schools, charity institutions that dig wells for poor and so the world over than Christians. And not only that, where the civil rights were concerned, Christians were the head of that. Where the Pan-African movement is concerned, it were people who profess to be Christians that spearheaded the Pan-African movement. People like Marcus Garvey, Hayes Latin, who profess to be Christian and churchmen and that sort of stuff, who spearheaded the Pan-African movement. The Pan-African movement came out of the church. Even women voting, the first set of women who fought for women to vote, even though I don't agree with the voting system, I don't really agree with the voting system, but even then, the first set of women who spearheaded that women should have the right to vote are women who profess to be Christian. You see, but a lot of these things people ain't talking, and to say the white man gave us Christianity is pure bunk because Christianity has been in Africa for almost 2,000 years now. And how we got the Africans, when they went to Jerusalem, when they went to Israel, they learned about Christianity that they came back to Africa. And Jews from Israel also went into Africa and spread the Christian religion there. Christian religion has been in Africa for almost 2,000 years. You have copies of the Bible.
We want to take some more calls, okay? Okay, well, thank you so much, Carl. We want to take some more calls. We'll take this short break, and when we come back, we will continue Voices right here on WIN FM 98.9. We'll take this break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WIN FM.
Manifest your desires, celebrating mothers in May. Manifest your desires while we celebrate mothers in the month of May at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Get 20% off store-wide on big and small appliances, bedroom and dining room sets, stoves, refrigerators, smart flat screen TVs, living room sets, mattresses, dryers, blenders, toaster ovens, and much, much more. Manifest your desires while we celebrate mothers in the month of May at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store with 20% off store-wide. Manifest your desires as we celebrate mothers in May and get 20% off store-wide at Horsewood's. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to the program. It is 12:47. We end at 1:30. Let me say thank you so much for your contribution to this program. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. There was something that I was referring to earlier in terms of the one government system that was suggested by Larry Vaughan. He's suggesting that we operate under one entity instead of having a federal government and a local government, that is the Nevis Island administration. And if that is to be so, then there should be a St. Kitts Island administration. This is a sentiment expressed by him. And based on the level of interaction that we saw on social media, people have said, well, I agree, I disagree, and they gave reasons as to why they agreed and reasons as to why they were not in support of that position. For me, I thought it was very interesting, knowing that for the Nevis Island administration and for those people who are older and may have a better grasp of the history, they would be able to tell of the reason why there was a Nevis Island administration and why at that time Nevisians fought so hard for a Nevis Island administration. And some of the sentiments or the views expressed were that they don't believe that today Nevis will be in support of ending or bringing the NIA to an end. And I believe so too. I believe for the most part this is something that will not be supported from the Nevis end. It gives or brings a certain level of it makes you feel, that you're able to manage your own affairs. A certain level of independence. You feel that, on Nevis we can be in charge of certain things and not have to look to the federal government to take care of certain things or look to the federal government to get permission to do, small matters that could be handled at the local level. So I think this is a conversation that, and I'm saying it now, that we'll definitely entertain a conversation on this in perhaps an Inside the News show where people can come in and give their take, on whether there should be one governance system, one election. Do everything one time to avoid the back and forth and all these elections. And, one of the points made was that, well, we're too small to sustain two governments, because we essentially have two governments. You have the Nevis Island administration, and Nevisians would refer to that administration as a whole government. Then you have the federal government. So, those are some of the pointers or points that were raised. We're going to head back to the phone lines to hear from the callers some more. Let's take this call. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back at 466-0989. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon. I guess you haven't had your lunch, eh?
No, not as yet.
I know, man. I know. You want to spoil your lunch, you see? So you eat after all of the confusion. Now, I want to address the Larry Vaughan's article.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, it is not original. None of the ideas are original. I'll tell you why.
None of the ideas?
What he proposed.
Oh, okay.
There was a paper put out by Limor when St. Kitts was trying to get independence.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bratt had tried before, and but the Nevisians, St. Daniel, had refused to join because of the continuous years of neglect and underdevelopment and the subjugation of Nevis by St. Kitts. Your parents say so. I used to go to Nevis, no water, no lights, no nothing. And some people don't know. Nevis has a bright history, The other day I happened to be searching my phone. I asked it to bring up historic St. Kitts. One lot of historical facts with the dates came about Nevis. Nevis used to be better off than St. Kitts and all of that. Nevis did not volunteer to join with St. Kitts. You know, some people don't know that. It was the British who forced Nevis into a relationship or the presidency with St. Kitts. And that is where this thing started. Now, so after the Labour people could not have their own way, they said, well, look, because Tim Daniel decided, look, he's not going to go into no independence with Mr. Bradshaw, knowing how he felt and how Nevis was treated. The British government had said, all right, they could go into independence, and after 18 months, if they don't like it, then they could come out. And that is where the 113 come from, you know. It gave Nevisians the option to come out of the Federation. So the Labour Party started to protest, because you know, they ain't rule, nobody ruling, eh? And Limor wrote this booklet, you must try and get it, called In Place of Strife. If you never heard about it, In Place of Strife, where he proposed that Nevis should have its own government, St. Kitts should have its own government, and then there should be a federal government. Now, between you and I, St. Kitts plus Nevis ain't even equal to half a Kingston. You know? And how would it function? And how would you be able, because you're talking about St. Kitts being poor in those days, eh? Poor. So, and the one with the bridge was proposed by Sir Kennedy Simmons. I don't know if you know that one too. You heard that, right?
Yeah, but just for information's sake, he was not suggesting that these were his ideas, eh?
Huh?
Mr. Vaughan did not suggest that these were his ideas.
I know, but you're floating the same thing. Because at this stage, how many persons will be in the federal government? And the idea of having the same two on one day is lack of respect for Nevis, you know. It's still killing some Kittitians to see Nevis as having rights. It is killing some people. You know, and they got the NIA, and they want this. That is what Nevis and Sim Daniel and they fought for when they were having independence, to escape. You know, in 1967, that led to the Anguilla and Nevis only a breakaway because they were too close to arm themselves. They went into associated statehood, and Nevis and Anguilla objected because they said, look, if we're in this thing and we're not getting any help, nobody to appeal to. But it was when Mr. Bradshaw alone ruling. And of course, when you go constituency basis, which is part of the debate today, even though we don't notice it, on those days, sometimes they ran people in Nevis, Labour, Pam also did it. But people and politicians tend to concentrate on their constituency over the national interest. Do you know that?
You said politicians.
That's where the vote coming from, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're the member of parliament for Nevis 1 or St. Christopher 1, of course you're expected to focus on that particular area because you are in parliament to represent them. Remember when we vote, we vote for elected representatives.
Yeah, but listen what I'm saying again. It depends on which side of the parliament you sit in. Because for years, Nevis had been in there, on the opposition side. Now, when Mr. Parry joined with Labour, they had some joint cabinet meetings, you know that?
You mean between the federal government and the NIA?
Uh-huh.
That sounds like it makes sense to me.
Eh?
That sounds like it makes sense to me.
Yeah, but remember that you were invited. Because Nevis had his own cabinet, and St. Kitts has its own. And St. Kitts, as usual, control most of the resources. You understand? Nevis now to go and ask Nevisians to go and vote for the Island Assembly, and they think on the same day. It put extra strain on the Nevisian political parties. Because remember, you will have 5 in some cases, where like the CCM is saying 5 and 3. It's a matter of strain.
But in a nutshell, you don't support that that we should remove the Nevis administration.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Right, but I understand that. But in terms of the call for there to be one government system, you don't support that.
One government, no.
Okay.
You see, history is important, as my good friend Tinga say. Nevis has been neglected and subjugated under a Labour government. Then, when they were there the other day, I mean, imagine that the Prime Minister went over under the pretext and was diverting people from taking their issues to their representative to him. I mean, that's an insult. Some people don't see, he have a federal government. So what they have a premier over there for? He must be the first place you go. You want something done, you're going to the federal government.
All right. Well, we want to take some more calls, callers. So I'm going to have to end this one with you and open up the phone lines for other people to give their take on the issues at hand. The phone lines are open. Call us at 4660989 or 7620989. If I can share some of what was suggested. Oh, okay. Before I head to that, there's another caller on the line. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller.
Yeah, greetings.
Yes, caller. Good afternoon.
Greetings, Brother Devon. This is Wax Kolonji.
Yes.
You Miss Henry just tell you?
What's that?
She making a wrong point. It started with the white man them and start with us. We just continuing the policy. When I was on your program, I pointed out to you. It's nothing new. The system, what they left us, we ain't change it. The problem is the system, my brother. The problem is the system.
Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. Please call us back, 4660989, 7620989. It is 1 o'clock. We have about 30 minutes left before we wrap up today's edition of Voices. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 4660989 or 7620989. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon. Devon, black people haven't progressed since slavery.
Yes, they
Every
have.
time they come on the radio, this is what they left us. This is what we do us. So you're going to tell me from since 1830-something till 2022, black people say it's stupid? So when are we going to be responsible? The white man, yes, they started it. But we should have enough self-determination to change it. So stop making an excuse. We are the one, the same thing. They gave us. They gave us. I said, look, so many bright black people, enterprising young black people, you all are decrying the whole race. You say you want to live the race. They gave us. So Mr. Bache had no sense. Well, a very intelligent man. Dr. Douglas had nothing. Limbo had none. Simmons had none. Harris ain't have none. Brandt ain't got none. These weak analysis you all just give, it don't make no sense. All over the world there are black scientists, and this one's about doctor. What? There's a doctor know about chemistry, let me tell you, in case you don't know. To get to do medicine, you have to get an A in chemistry. I don't mean on Cape, I mean at university.
Yeah, I know that, yes.
So he asked him, what they know about chemistry? Are you all undervaluing black people and so you're trying to lift them up? You have a very, very poor estimation of black people. We are scientists, we everything. We're making vaccine too. That's what they don't like capitalism. What's going on in China? What they like? People lock in They have to take the vaccine. In Cuba, they have no choice. Lock up, lock in. You must take it. You are talking, maybe men black enough. I don't buy those foolish things. I mean, Devon is a young black man, maybe at my age, at his age, some things I didn't know. But I have been exposed, I read, I research. I have a very high estimate of black people. You all must stop it. Oh, they gave us. Any sensible person would know by now that the white Jesus that the Catholics and they have was painted by the same Michelangelo of his family. Lord, we live now where we could see what Arabs and Jews and so look like. We know. So when we come into a lot of, and they gave us. We were so stupid. I born 1948. You hear me? And between now and then, you're going to tell me I'm still backward? You all are making black people look foolish. All of you is, and they gave us. So black people don't got no sense. They have no sense. They're ruling us, you see, our country, we're in the high income group. They have many black countries today. You said that, in Africa we lose the culture and with this. You all want the people to go back and sit down on the tree? Right. And by the way, in case you don't know, the Indians in America, what they call the Mexican Indians, they had the same kind of religion, where they ascribe life to the plants and the animals. We're not the only one.
All right. Well, Carla, thank you for your contribution to this program. We'll take this short break, and when we come back, we will continue Voices right here on 1FM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Get your property properly covered today. Constructing your dream house or considering renovating your property? We will make sure your property is properly covered at Guardian General Insurance. Yes, at Guardian General Insurance, we will ensure that your property is properly covered with our private dwelling and contractors all-risk promotion. Visit or call us today and get affordable rates, premium financing arrangements from now until March 31st, 2022. We will properly cover fire, lightning, explosion, thunderbolt, bursting or overflowing of water tanks and apparatus pipes, burglary, theft or larceny, impact by road vehicle, riot, strike or malicious damage, hurricane, earthquake or volcanic eruption, flood, collapse due to subsidence of landslip, loss of rent, cost of temporary accommodation, and much more. So get your property properly covered at SL Horsford and Company Limited, local agents for Guardian General Insurance today. Special terms and conditions apply. Call today at 869-465-9355 for further details.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. It is 8 minutes past the hour of 1, and we're winding down with the time that we have here today. The phone lines are open, so let's head back to the phone lines and take some calls. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, greetings, Raya. You see this place here? This place here is hell, Raya. And you see, man, you see our tongue in our mouth is like a fire. Every day, man, blazing in hell. The lady there need to calm herself, man. She can't just anytime someone call in, she come in behind and try to condemn them. She ain't know everything. Trust me. Because you see saying kids here, we got 90% lazy people. You got land here, lying away, skinny grass and all kind of things. And every day she call in just to fuel surplus with this land, Douglas with the land. I see it, I mean, want to hear about no kind of politician right now. They cannot save black people. We got to save ourselves. We got to get up, calm, check because you think it's big enough for a farmland. You check? That's the only way to save ourselves. But what's happening? They're giving the young people the money to buy them, to sit on in the tree, as she said, and be lazy. You check? They need to go and turn away all the people who are paying and not working. They want to hear a call and talk like this and like that. She needs to see herself. You know what I mean? I'm coming and talk about consulting. Last time I already everybody say, she calling and say, trying to condemn the man. But the problem I see right now, brother, you think it? We is not doing nothing to help ourselves. Politicians cannot help us. Got to farm. Here we're going on. 10,000 tons of a road. Here, lightning of a crack. Earthquake. Because the earth is the Lord and there is not farming. When you're going somewhere, it's all young man and cool now to get a pay. 2 A in sitting down, 2 A in a motorcycle, all over the place, scatter to it. Nothing productive as a black race. We need to till the soil. No Timothy Harris, nobody can only give the money to just to praise them, you know what I mean, and condemn us. We got to go and to the earth, till the earth and help ourselves. If we want to advance, she needs to call and talk more productiveness. Every day she call and she talk one crap and want to bring down people. We need to stop being ourselves. We have to say, again, right now we started here in the mountain. It's 8 acres of wasteland, 8 acres of wasteland. But the young man then do. All
right. Well, caller, thank you. Thank you for your contribution to this program. I wouldn't really look at it as the caller trying to condemn anybody. For me, it is just as one person is able to give their view and their opinion on a matter, so too should the caller. And if that is her opinion and her view, then we have to respect that. But not to say that she should not be able to give her view. I'm totally not in support of that. The phone lines are open. And if you want to call in to give your take on a particular issue, you have absolutely every right and opportunity to do so. But we can't keep saying, well, this one person got all this and this one person believes that they know everything when we are not taking part. So I wouldn't really, that is your view and I respect that, but I don't agree with you when you say that she's condemning anybody. She's giving her view, her take on the situation or on the matter. And we have to respect each other's opinion, each other's views. We are not going to always agree with each other. But it's when we try to get down to a very low level in terms of trying to disrespect each other, we can't do that. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good, thanks.
I have heard some things here, and I believe I heard wrong. I mean, I hope I'm not hearing wrong. And it's just my mind. Because...
Sorry, caller, I'm not hearing you properly. There's a lot of wind in the phone.
Okay, let me shift from the position I am.
Yes.
When we speak about Mr. Gratchen and Tim Daniel, the NIA comes into office after we get independence. The NIA, from my recollection, won the year before. What you had a government and opposition. Luckily, that Robert Bratcher was able, the Labour Party was able to win all seats in St. Kitts. So even though you had opposition in Nevis, until 1980 when Bratcher died, then Bratcher was the government. In 1975, when Bratcher won the election, when the Labour Party won the election, let me don't say Bratcher, let me rephrase my statement. When Robert Llewellyn Bratcher was the leader of this country and the premier, when he won the election, he said, "Comrade, I have been elected premier of St. Christopher, Nevis, and Anguilla. And there will be any man who stopped me from taking this country into independence." The PAM party take us into independence, but they did not have to fight for independence because independence was at our doorstep. The reason why that Robert Llewellyn Bratcher did not get independence is because he did not want to go independent without Anguilla. Because although Anguilla was given their own government back in 1967, and the Anguillan public ran away, went to take the arms from the police from St. Kitts who went down there. When they went into the police station and take over and give the police, there must be 12 days to leave Anguilla. Britain decided that if Anguilla did not want to go apart with St. Kitts into independence, they would not force him to do it. And that is what the former premier wanted. No, Anguilla had their own flag that was given to them by the Queen. Officially, Anguilla only got away from St. Kitts around 1980, when Sir Probin Innes refused to sign a document that said St. Kitts and Nevis. And he said, "I am not signing that document because it is still St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla." So Probin Innes was right, but asked the Queen to relieve him of his duty. So we had a one-government system all the time. The NIA only comes into being after 1980, when PAM won and they wanted to go into independence. So I think Mr. Sylvan has a little bit messed up, but Anguilla, since back in 1967, they were on their own. Officially, they get to reform us in 1982. That is why they have a day in Anguilla that they call Ronald Webster Day. Anguilla Day, it's Ronald Webster Day. So we had our battles. Independence was at our doorstep, but Bratcher did not get, the Labour Party did not get independence here back then because of what Anguilla did not want to go with us, because they feel it was treated unfairly. And even you are the smaller one in the house, sometimes you feel like you are treated unfairly. But what I am saying, and what we need to understand, is that we need to go back and look at our history comes up. Because Robert Llewellyn Bratcher was the premier of St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla. So I hope that Sylvain and people who are listening like you would realize that the NIA, the Nevis Island Administration, come into being after independence in 1993. In 1975, PAM and NRP won the first election. PAM and NRP won the first election in 1975. A lot of people believe that Simmons was the first person who got elected for PAM. But Fred Parris got elected in Nevis, and then he switched over from PAM to Labour back in 1975. So the history is there, and we need to study our history before we start arguing politics and we start saying wrong things. Have a nice day.
All right, and caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you, man?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, for me, man, maybe I know right before the break you said you're gonna try to bring that guy up, Larry Vaughn.
No, I was reading an article that made mention of some of the things that he was suggesting in terms of a one government system.
Yeah, okay, but the commentary that he put out is timely right now. Like we could see a lot of issues that he mentioned in that article or whatever. I would think that you should try to get him, on your program, and then we can have some dialogue, some discussions about these issues, because these are the issues that's plaguing, St. Kitts and Nevis for all these years that I know myself. Ever so often, things flare up between St. Kitts and Nevis. Right now, everybody knows it's a flare up right now, and that's why the country is in the position where it's at right now. You know, we have a relationship, but we just don't seem like we could get along. You know, the system that they have in place or something got to be changed. You know, the Constitution, it's time for reform across the whole board. You know, the politicians now, they're not trying to do these intangible things. They're not trying to do these things because when they get on the inside, it seems like it's benefiting them. You know, I don't know who is going to make this change, but I know St. Kitts and Nevis is still a young nation in terms of the independence and relation to the rest of the islands, of course, the Caribbean region or whatever. But, you know, to where we at right now is not surprising to me. You know, it's not surprising to me at all. But we just got to make these changes so we can benefit both of these islands and this double island relationship that we have. You know, we need the reform to happen right now. And, you know, that's all I really got to say. Because if this reform don't come, we're gonna stay in the same position forever, bro. Because since I know myself, ever so often, it's a flare-up between St. Kitts and Nevis. Just like a relationship. It's not always good, it's not always bad. But most of the time, you know, at least it should be good. But we have disagreements that we need to be settled. And if they don't settle it, St. Kitts and Nevis is going to be like this forever.
All right.
I don't care what nobody says, boy. There's no changes coming. But that's my contribution, man. Thanks a lot. But I wish everybody the best, man.
All right. Caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. Let's head back to the phone lines. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. The phone lines are open. It is 19 minutes past the hour of 1. We end at 1:30. The numbers are 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Cornelius. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I want to weigh in on the matter of Nevis having a government and the St. Kitts and Nevis having a government.
Sure.
Because that is what it is.
All right.
I have always opposed to the idea that Nevis has a government in Nevis, yet Nevis has a government in St. Kitts and Nevis. To me, that is unfair to the people of St. Kitts. And for some time, some of us in Nevis believe that we can take advantage and are taking advantage of this arrangement. Because in Nevis, we say that we hold to our 100% that belong to us. But then we claim that we are St. Kitts and Nevis, which is true. And so therefore, we are entitled to a portion out of St. Kitts while we hold to ours. When the revenue sharing mechanism was put in place, I understand it to mean that, to say that there was a process in place for us to consolidate our funds. Nevis get a percentage, St. Kitts gets a percentage, and we go forward. The Concerned Citizens Movement came into being, and they decided, absolutely not. They would not be a part of that because the economy of Nevis was doing much better than that of St. Kitts. And so they're going to hold to their 100%. And so we broke up that revenue sharing mechanism back then, and it still comes back to haunt us up to this present moment. I personally believe if St. Kitts and Nevis are going to stay together as a country, the people of St. Kitts must have a government for themselves. And so therefore they will not be at the mercy or at the wrath of the governments of Nevis, especially a Concerned Citizens Movement that is lazy and has not done anything to advance Nevis, to bring Nevis to a level again where we are basically self-sufficient. Then we have heard the argument that we had an administration headed by Simeon Daniel. We had an administration that was headed by Joseph Parry. And the argument is that never in the history of Nevis, of this arrangement, did Nevis get a penny out of St. Kitts. I know that is not accurate, but that's the argument that is made by the Concerned Citizens Movement and the People's Labour Party. But with nothing based on the argument, Simeon Daniel was able to put Nevis on the pinnacle as the envy of the Caribbean. With nothing, Joseph Parry came and were able to transform Nevis, which again was the envy of people in the region. And we have a government who has received, according to them, they have admitted that they have received over $360+ million. And yet we have seen absolutely nothing for that. But we are blaming St. Kitts for everything that happens. The latest thing, Devon, is the announcement of the Premier, who has indicated that the reason why he cannot give the civil servants the 10% is somehow Timothy Harris' fault, and that Harris did not discuss with him anything in relation to that as the Premier of Nevis. But Mark was a part of the cabinet, according to Pam, according to Jonel, who discussed this matter, I think it's back in October last year. So even Harris did not discuss it with him under the title Premier of Nevis. It was discussed under the title of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and a representative from Nevis. And so he would have had an idea. Now, I suppose, would have known whatever the arrangement is to pay the Navy civil servants or public servants whenever an announcement is made, whether the St. Kitts base government pay 100%, or they pay a percentage and the Navy Standard Administration pay a percentage. Well, if you've been discussing this from October last year, you not begin to set aside your percentage, and you claim they claim that what they were setting aside, they were thinking about 15%. So therefore, if it's half that you have to do and you were discussing it, begin to put your half aside. So when it is implemented, you have your half. You did absolutely nothing. And when it's announced, you're saying that you was caught off guard, it was not discussed with you, trying to find a cop-out. And until St. Kitts get a government for itself, we will continue to have this issue when we have lazy people who do not want to work. According to I think is T.J. Jakes, preacher, there are people who do not want to put anything into the pool, but they want to draw out of the pool because they are family members. And T.J. Jakes says that whoever draws from the pool that put nothing in the pool are thieves. And so right now we are at the mercy of St. Kitts, and I firmly believe that St. Kitts need to have an administration for itself, then we work together. That's the only how we're going to have peace in this federation. Thank you.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. We have about 4 minutes left before we wrap up the discussion today. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 762-0989. Let's head back to the phone lines. We'll take this call. Caller, you're on the air. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Devon? Yes. I would like to quickly say, where Ms. Henry is concerned, I fully agree with her in as far as she mentioned the issue of we blacks blaming the white man for the wrongs that we do and the evils that we do. We blame the white man for it.
Caller? Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. If I can, before we wrap up, head to some of the comments on the live stream. A comment says, with all the demonstrations and chaos in 1982 in St. Kitts, how can you say Pam did not have to fight for independence? Nevis was on the verge of secession, and Gwilla broke away. Labour even boycotted the the independence celebrations. That is from Irvin Sweeney. It says, another comment from Roy Maynard says, I do not understand. The federal government is St. Kitts and Nevis. Is St. Kitts, and Nevis is just a small part of the federal government. These are some of the comments on the live stream. Let's take this last call and we'll wrap up the program for today. Caller, good afternoon. You are on the air.
Man, I am so blessed, so blessed. I want to encourage everybody to pray for this country. Now, that the caller before Gregory, his arguments are very weak, you know. This thing about, let me tell people how this thing works. I used to work on it. It is, you know, bookkeeping and accounting. You add Nevis and St. Kitts numbers. Ain't no money going into no treasury and no coming out of no treasury. It was a bookkeeping exercise where you add up the receipts. It wasn't Nevis money coming to St. Kitts, no, nothing. So that's one. Now, I suggest to the reader that he go back to the IMF and read the IMF consultation for up to when NRP was in, and you will see. They end up like Nevis, like St. Kitts. They had debt. They had to put up land for debt. How on God earth you could be saying, oh, we got to be honest, I know you're campaigning. I don't know the person, I don't know the person. But that kind of thing don't make no sense. And St. Kitts can't want more than what they have. St. Kitts ain't losing nothing. It's ridiculous. St. Kitts got all the O. They got the O, they got the B, they got the I, and they ain't got the N, and the G and the O. St. Kitts is the St. Kitts Nevis government offered. It's for St. Kitts. It's for St. Kitts. And all the ain't got no government. That is ridiculous. Nevis is at a disadvantage because you could be in the house. Unless you're on the government side, you're only a spectator. You're only there to talk.
All right. Well, caller, we are out of time, so I'm going to have to end this call with you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Voices for today. Until next time, you guys take care. This has been another edition of Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9, and I've been your host, Devon Cornelius. You guys take care.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is rolling out D-Cash, the next step in the